Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Lund, and this is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, where we are intolerant of weak-minded attitudes that keep people from pursuing new, exciting things in the areas of fitness, outdoors, and general lifestyle. This is the first episode after the pilot, so technically it's episode 2, or maybe like real episode 1, not sure. But anyway, my guest is Zack Trudeau, a close friend, elementary PE teacher, and co-founder of LMT, which is Live Mentally Tough, a lifestyle brand that I'm also a part of that is about living mentally tough and not giving in to all the excuses that other people might, living the life that you want to live. Episode 2 or 1, depending how you look at it, coming up next. So here we are, episode 2 or 1, depending on how you count it, but certainly the first one with a guest. My guest is Zack Trudeau, a good friend of mine, and fellow co-owner of LMT, Live Mentally Tough. Zack, we've known each other for a couple of years here. The stories of how people get to Alaska are always the ones that people like to hear. Like, how do you end up in Ketchikan, Alaska? It's not some huge destination to live at. Like, no magazine is ever going to put it in its top places to live. So how did you end up living here?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I got to Ketchikan, Alaska, all because of a girl. My wife actually was originally from Ketchikan, Alaska. We met back east, and when she, brought me up for a few visits, I fell in love with it. I couldn't get enough of Ketchikan, what it had to offer, and when the opportunity, arose, I took that, and I moved up here, and she moved back up here with me, and we're just living life to the fullest up here in Ketchikan, Alaska now.
Speaking of living life to the fullest, I'll admit that in the pilot episode, I mentioned a story about a friend, and I say that in quotes, who or a buddy of mine who happened to emerge from a muskeg just across from a deer. Can you tell me? Can you give me your perspective of what exactly went down there? It's totally not your fault. I mean, that's totally. I've seen bucks. I was up on a mountain a couple of years ago with a buddy of mine, and we're walking down this ridge, and we did not expect to see a buck, and all of a sudden, like massive. It looked like it was a mule deer. Pops up, and I can still see the image of it running away from me with these massive horns. And my buddy's saying, "Oh, that's a good buck. It's a Danzy." And I didn't have a bullet in the chamber. Like, everything went wrong. I didn't even get a shot off. It was a disaster. So it totally happens. But walk me through the despair or whatever you were feeling
the catastrophe
when we're waving back to each other like, "Hey, rescue us!" And then I get down and say there was a buck. Walk me through that.
Yeah. So, Jeffy kind of explains it in the first episode where, he's in one section, and I was supposed to be kind of in a totally different area. But as I was getting to that area, even in Alaska, sometimes you're going to come across people also hunting. And because I came across someone else, I thought, maybe I'll come in between that guy and Jeff. And there was a lot of ground in between, or so I thought. And, so I tried to come through this area. I pop up, and I come up just over this small little mound, and then I see Jeff through this muskeg. And
hey, man. Hey, yeah. What's going on? hey, Jeff. Yeah.
At that point, I almost thought that, this hunt is kind of hitting its snag of the day. It's just, it's getting a little rough.
Did you see me, like, when I was making the motions? I was trying to make, like, antlers out of my hands on the side of my head. But, you were probably 100, 120 or so yards away. Like, what were you, when you saw me make those motions, what was going on there?
You know what?
Just a little backstory. Like, Zack and I have hunted together a lot, and we have never had success together. It's never been like, "Hey, man, I've thought, hey, I'm not a really good hunter, but my buddy Zack, we're going to go out hunting, and I'm going to try to put them on deer, but we have never had success. Even with steelhead fishing, the same thing. I'm like, hey, dude, yeah, I go up by myself to this river. I catch steelhead, and I'm like, dude, yeah, we're going to get Zach on some steelhead. And it like, actually, no.
No,
it happened. Yeah. Eagle Creek, yeah, that was, or No Name Creek. we had some good luck there. But yeah, we've had no like buck hunting together. So there's no sort of like, hey, this is the sign, Zach, that we have established that it's going to happen. It's going to happen right now. So be alert. So given that, how did you react when we saw the hand motions and we were communicating?
It took me a minute because it was a little distance. It wasn't very far, but it kind of takes a second after you start squinting, you start looking, and you're like, you know what? He's motioning something that I should probably be looking for. And unfortunately, by that point in time, it was already too late. But you bring up a good point. We have been hunting a lot together, but it takes time. To learn the lay of the land, to learn what each other, what we're going to be doing. It takes time. And being Alaskan, I guess, for only some odd years now, I'm still learning, and I'm still falling in huge piles of muskeg where I'm up to my neck in, I don't know, some kind of gunk, and sometimes it happens over and over again. That's all I'm saying. It just takes time, and one of these days it'll happen. But getting out there, moving around, and saying, that the weather's bad and everything like that's one thing, but just pushing through it. Yeah. You got to get out there. Yeah. You got to do it.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second. The whole, it's called the mediocre Alaskan, which in no way is me talking about, hey, how I'm victimized. The most popular thing in the country seems right now like, hey, how can I choose to be a victim in somehow, or how can I choose to be like, well, you need to accept me for who I am, rather than like just get after it and dominate. And it's okay to be awful at something as long as you're proving yourself that you're working toward getting better. So how this transition thing where you're figuring out how to become an Alaskan as far as hunting and fishing, and there are so many people who like really know what to do, and you're in that process. How do you figure out the frustration as part of it and not let the frustration keep you from quitting? Because I think so many people, they see frustration or they encounter frustration and they quit because, well, no, it's not for me. That's not something I should do. Like, I'm not good at it, so I should just quit. How do you compromise, or how do you deal with that? How do you come to terms with that? And you're okay with, hey, yeah, let's go out again. It's fine. Let's go.
I think it's all about learning. I like to learn. I like to kind of develop those skills. It takes time. And it's hard work, but getting out there, having the camaraderie with, Jeff or whoever, that's what it's all about. Going out there, it's a struggle. And if you're going out there alone, it becomes a little bit more of a struggle. But at the end of the day, I know that, fishing, hunting, whatever it may be, for the most part, is providing for my family, or providing for my household, whatever you want to say. And that makes me, like, I don't know, as happy as can be. It's something that doesn't cost a whole lot of money. It's just my fortitude. It's just getting out there. And that's what it's all about.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
There are certain people who the best, like getting outside is like to like hunt and fish, and I totally feel that sort of same thing, that it's great to just be out, and you're out hunting and fishing, and it's not necessarily the result that you get. It's great to get a result, but if you're just out there, and that's so nice to get out and feel that for sure. How do you approach your work? Because you have your work life, right? And that earns the paychecks, that does whatever. Like, how does your weekend, your off hours, how you approach your free time impact your work hours? Do you feel rejuvenated every weekend that you go out and you hunt or you fish or you do something outside? How does it replenish you for the week? Or does it replenish you for the week? Like, how does it get you prepared for the work week rather than be one of those people who sits inside the entire weekend and dreads Monday? Like, is there a difference? Do you not dread Monday because you have such a great weekend of fun and experience and you're ready for the next weekend, or how does that work out?
Some weekends, and I'm not going to lie, this weekend was a little rough. The weather this weekend in Ketchikan,
you still hunted. Like, you were out this morning. When I was out on a mountain, you were on a different mountain. Like, you were still out in the snow. You were still hunting. So.
Yeah, so I got out a little bit today, and it gives you time to reflect on the week a little bit. You're sometimes out there all by yourself and just thinking about the week, thinking about what's coming. Does pop into your head while you're hunting. And, that's all right. And sometimes that's what I need. If I have a rough week, getting out in the woods where I'm just hearing raindrops on my rain gear, like, that's soothing to me for some reason. And, now I am recharged. I think everyone needs that little break. And finding out about yourself and what break you need to replenish or recharge is awesome. For us, I think it's getting out in the woods. I know for others, it's getting to the gym. Pushing through, beating yourself up in the gym or wherever it may be is a good thing. And I enjoy that. Last night, Jeff laughs because
I happened to be there. Yeah. I witnessed part of it. I was there just innocently taking pictures for LMT, for the website, and Zach is one of the most competitive sort of, sure, I'll do it type people I've ever met, and he got convinced to do 100
overhead squats.
Yeah. Just the bar, but 100 reps, and he put it down at 50, and then our buddy Kevin deducted 10 reps from him because he put the bar down, and he was in his khakis from work. His work. What are those work boots?
Just the kind of work boots.
Working shoes. There's certainly not any sort of like Nike cross training or Nike CrossFit shoes. But got after it. Yeah, made it happen. So there you go. Continue the story. Go.
Yeah, but anyway, I just thought it was going to be a good time. if I just picked up the bar and got after it. And
I don't see how you would have thought that was going to be a good time. Like, you're just coming off school. You've been teaching fifth graders how to run, and then you go in there like, I'm going to it's going to be good. It's going to be fun to do this. I'm going to, without warming up, I'm just going to do 100 reps of this. And you think it's going to be fun. That's Zach. That is Rock Ziggy right there.
Yep. Just blowing off the steam when I can, where I can, is what it's all about. And sometimes it's in, a gym. Sometimes it's out in the woods. But either way, I had a blast. But I will say today, when I tried to make a slight elevation gain, I felt those squats today.
Paid for it. Not as fun as it was yesterday, for sure. Good.
Yeah.
You grew out your hair for Locks of Love. You've had a past of your early childhood was something that most people do not have to endure. And so now you make a point of making sure that people have to deal with health issues feel supported, and you want to feel connected to it. So what is it? Explain to me the motivation behind how long you've donated your hair to Locks of Love, and why is it that you continue to, rather than just like, I'm going to do this once and I've done it, I'm going to move on. You continue to time and again to do this. Can you explain that a little bit?
When I was about 6.5, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease, and I went through the chemo, the radiation. I lost some of my hair, and I was lucky enough to have parents everything from document to drive me to the doctor's appointments and pay for the huge bills, all that, and I give it all to them. So I kind of see it in the same sense as I'm trying to give something back that's not I try to donate money here and there from time to time, but I try to give something back that's a little bit more of me. The money aspect is great and everything like that, but when I grow my hair out, it's more about showing people that, I've been through it. This is what I've been through, and I'm doing something. I'm growing my hair out, or I'm muscling through something to show you guys that, there's other people out there that need this. It's kind of drawing awareness, and, I just want people to see that sometimes maybe it's not about donating money or just throwing money at the cause. Picking something up with your hands, feeling it, and getting over that fortitude with that person is probably the most important part.
Well, I've noticed too that, when people comment to me, they're like, oh, your hippie friend. I said, no, he's growing out his hair for Locks of Love. That statement really makes an impact on them, because they're like, oh, hippie friend. And they go from hippie friend to, oh, dude, that there's purpose there. There's something that's different about that. There's something that's like purposeful, not like, hey, I want to look like a hippie, so you look at me, and so, oh, the long hair because I'm going for whatever. There's a purpose to it. Talk a little about that purpose, that things that you want to do, that the perspective that you have now because of what you've gone through and where you are now, and like how you want to live your life going forward.
And to each his own. They can call me the hippie friend or whatever. But at the end of the day, I know that I grew out my hair and I tried to treat it right or whatever. So, maybe some kid who has Hodgkin's disease can get a wig if they feel that they need it. When I was younger, I remember I was about second grade, and there was times when I was allowed to go to school, I was going through a lot of treatments and stuff during that time. But when I did go, kids, they asked. And sometimes it wasn't the most polite way. Kids are still learning at that age. Yeah. But, if kids feel that they need, like, that type of support, like a wig or anything like that, yeah, I'm going to give it to them. Yeah, I'm going to talk to them about it. I'm going to try to do anything and everything I can because I know how it felt when I was at that age. And as far as, like, people, thinking that's hippie-ish or whatever, that's fine. But I'm growing my hair out for those kids, and that's all that it goes.
People have those preconceived notions about things, and once they like understand the realness behind it, and it's the same thing. I was having breakfast this morning, and I said I was going to go hunting, and the waitress said that she's a vegetarian, but she understands the idea that hey, you know what, you're going to get it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's a purpose behind it. There's something that's going on here, and it was great for her to understand that, hey, you know what, we're different, but I get it, and that's the people are so judgmental when you first look at them. Oh, I'm going to label you as this. You are a hippie because you have long hair. But if you take a little bit of time to ask a question,
yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm sure there's a story there. Like, dude has long hair. Dude is like a Fabio fan, or he's like, well, what's going on here? There's probably something going on. And like to ask the question to another human being rather than like make that assumption. And, the same thing with, the waitress this morning, she got it. She understood that, hey, if you're going to get more organic or you're going to get more grass-fed than alpine black-tailed deer, actually, I don't think you can. I think that's probably about as much as it can. So, it's great to see that for sure. So, perfect ending point, I think, right there. Great stuff here from Zack Trudeau. Thank you for being on the show here. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for being on here, man. You're the man. Yeah, you're the man.
Thank you.
We're gonna go out and we're gonna kill a deer.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it, man. Tomorrow.
Yeah. We're gonna get over the hump. We're gonna come back, and now it's gonna be that, we're just not that duo that.
Well, we should probably say, hey, you know what? You did shoot a black bear, so like you've gone like, hey, I moved to Alaska and I've shot a black bear before I've shot a deer. So let's be honest here.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. The black bear with Zack Trudeau. Thank you for listening. That is episode 1 or episode 2 if you count the pilot. Thank you for listening, and you can see the Mediocre Alaskan on Facebook or on the internet at themediocrealaskan.com, and we will see you next time.